Hi everyone, welcome to Psychology Ki Pathshala, Psychoshala. I'm Shubham Bhatt and I'm a psychologist. Today we are going to learn about theories of emotions. This is a very important part of any psychological concepts, and even it is useful in various masters and bachelor's examinations. So I conducted a free session with my students on theories of emotions, which I've uploaded it and which we will be watching after this introduction. So let's go and start watching. Just before that, I want to introduce to this topic of emotions. So what are emotions? Emotions are a subjective state of mind towards a particular stimulus or a situation, which also involves physiological, experiential, and behavioral aspects in it. Emotions are natural part of us, and we can have emotions for everything around us in a different way. As in, I can feel differently, you can feel differently about a certain situation. So let's understand the characteristics of emotions and theories of it. So there are various theories that are given about emotions. Let's understand the first one. The first theory that was given. Anyone knows about it? Anyone who knows the names of theories, by the way?
James-Lange Theory,
Okay, thank you.
Cannon-Bart Theory,
Very nice.
Schachter-Singer Theory.
Very good. Awesome. बस ठीक है. So there are many, but we will study 4 today. Okay, because this session I can only cover 4 of them. Remaining we'll talk about later, but these are the main major theories of emotions, though that defines a lot of things about emotions. Okay, but let's understand, before coming to the theory, let's understand the characteristics of emotions. Are emotions is a single emotion permanent, or do we feel different emotions at different times?
Yes.
Yes. So emotions are temporary. One emotion is not permanent, it keeps changing. That's the first characteristic of emotions. Okay. Second characteristic. If towards a stimulus, towards a situation, if I am feeling fear, is it necessary that all 25, 26 of you will feel fear about the same situation?
No.
No, right? So that means emotions are subjective experiences. Okay.
Yes.
1 second. Payal, you also want to record it locally? We are already recording.
So will you share it in the group?
Yes, we will share. I'll share it in the group.
Okay, then share.
Okay, 1 second. Let me also start it on my cloud. Okay, meanwhile, people are also joining. So I have to also add them. If there is a pause, I'm so sorry for that. So what did we discuss? Emotions keep on changing. Emotions are subjective experiences. मतलब सबका अलग-अलग emotions हो सकते हैं towards one situation. Okay. Now, does emotion have any motivational context? Can emotions motivate you to do something, to take an action?
Yes.
Yes, no,
In some
maybe.
cases it can.
It can be. Correct. What else? Can it give you any physiological reactions? मतलब emotions की वजह से body में कुछ हो रहा है.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Any example?
Nervousness होती है. Like shivering feeling होती है. Some feel like
Shivering,
crying emotions के कारण.
Palpitations.
sweating, palpitation, right? So do you see, now emotions are not just a subjective experience, but see how many characteristics does it have. It keeps on changing. We feel different emotions at different times. Everyone is experiencing those emotions in a different way, so it is very subjective also, right? And it is also giving us physiological reactions, physiological responses to our body. Apart from this, what did we discuss? It is also giving us a motivational factor to take an action or not to take an action. It can it also stop us from taking an action?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, any example?
Like the fear emotion can stop us to doing something wrong that can harm us, like going near an danger animal like lion, tiger, etc.
Very good, very nice. Or even emotions when you're feeling extremely sad and you don't feel like doing anything. आज मैं जिम नहीं जाऊंगा, कोई फायदा नहीं है ये सब करने का. I don't want to go to gym. Okay, no parties, please. I just don't want to do anything. I just want to lie down and sleep. That's it. Okay. So it is also stopping you or not motivating you to not take actions. Okay. And is it giving you any kind of meaning towards a particular situation? Any reference, any description कि अच्छा ऐसा हुआ इस वजह से मुझे ऐसा feel हो रहा है? Are emotions also giving you a cognitive evaluation about a situation?
Yes.
Yeah, they do.
They do, right? When you
Yeah.
feel sad or when you feel happy, when you feel excited, you also have a meaning of why you are feeling that way. So there is a meaning assigned to a situation in your head. Is it clear?
Yeah.
Abhi tak any questions? No. Okay. So let's start with how did psychologists come up with the theories of emotion and
I
what
have
were
a
these?
question.
Can you
Does
please tell
this
me your
help?
name also?
My name is Payal. I
Hi,
wanna
Payal.
ask if this emotions theory will help me in my master's entrance exams. Just
Yes,
wondering. It will?
yes, for sure.
Yeah.
It is one of the major topics in any of the entrances that you go through, even in NET JRF.
No, I'm in my third year UG with psychology, and I wanna pursue my master's in psychology as well.
Yes, it will.
Okay, thank you.
So, okay, coming back to emotions, theory of emotions. All right. The first theory and the main theory that came, okay, it was James-Lange theory. Okay. So James-Lange is not one person. These are two people. Okay. And what are the names? Anyone? Chalo, I'll tell this one. William James and Carl, C-A-R-L, Carl Lange. It was given in 1880s. Okay. So what are the names? Can someone repeat now?
William James and
William.
Carl.
Haan. Now the question can be, who was William James? And there can be some of the options also. Okay. American psychologist, physiologist, neuropsychologist, or none of these. Okay. Just a normal question. So he was American psychologist. All right. William James was an American psychologist and Carl Lange was a Danish physiologist. Not a psychologist, physiologist who studies body. Okay. So this can also be one of the questions that can come. What is the theory that they have given? I'll share my screen and let's understand this. So, okay, one, how would I say? One note you can take it as there might be theories which you do not agree to. कि ये क्या बोल रहा है? I don't agree to this. So these are theories and take them as theories, not the fact. So you can have your own opinions. It was their opinion, their study. We are just studying them to get a more broader overview about how things can function. So your disagreement is appreciated, but yes, let's just understand what they went like a story. Okay. And let's try and relate it with the real life examples. Oh, sorry. Can everyone see my white screen?
Yes.
Yes.
It is visible.
Yes.
Okay, I think there are some people who are still following, as in still it might be loading for their system. There are some chats also. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay, fine. Okay. So according to James-Lange theory, a stimulus is there, okay, which he calls as emotional provoking event. So emotional provoking event. Any kind of stimulus, according to them, first there is a physiological reaction. Matlab something is happening in our body. Physiological reaction. Okay. And then there is a subjective state which we term as emotion. So according to them, first something happens to our body, and based on that we identify that as an emotion. Okay. Now you see a snake, you start trembling, and then you identify that as a fear. Are you understanding what they are talking about? So according to them, there is a physiological change or a physiological reaction which is followed by an emotion. That is what James-Lange theory is in easy terms. Similarly, you go to, please guys, please do not sketch it. You can sketch it in your notebooks, or else we won't be able to see it properly. Now, can you give me another example like this?
Like if something good happens, like you got a good grade, then you start jumping, celebrating, and this is followed by the happiness, emotion, happy emotions.
Yes, you saw your result, and the first thing that you did was you jumped.
Yeah, which is because of emotions or followed by happy
Followed by
emotions.
emotion, right? So you jumped
Happy.
and then you identified, oh, I'm happy. You're not, okay. So according to them, happiness is later, jumping is first. Okay. So you saw your marks, you jumped, and then you identify, oh, this jump is happiness. So you are happy. Okay. Similarly, if you go for a public speaking workshop, or you are going to be in a stage, public speaking, what happens there? You start sweating. And then you identify it as a fear. Anyone wants to take a picture of this? I know my writing is very bad when I write it in iPad, but you can take it if you can understand. All right, I'm stopping to share it. Any confusion here till now?
No.
Their thought process, not mine. Okay. So something happens, you are in a situation, your body starts acting, and then you realize this is fear. This is James-Lange theory of emotion. So what are the strengths of it? What are the good points that you can notice here? So for every theory, just to let you know, we'll be talking about the core concept. We'll be talking about their strengths. We'll also be talking about their criticism, so that it covers the holistic picture of that theory in your mind. Okay. And then you can decide which one to choose. But for exams, everything is important. Yes. Anyone who sees any strengths here? Okay, so the first strength that was given to it, that it includes the it includes the bodily sensation also in our emotions or in a certain situations, which helped the future research in making, in doing a research on how our body is connected to our mind, and mind body connection, and a lot of emotional aspects which we can test from the body. Have you heard of biofeedback, where there is a machine, you put it here and they can see your, the state of your rhythm, when you're breathing in, how stressed are you, how comfortable are you, now you're not stressed. That biofeedback, the study of those biofeedback and how your body responds to certain situation. So James-Lange theory helped in more research towards that. That was a very good strength of this. But then there were a lot of criticisms also. First criticism was, what if the person is paralyzed or the parts are not working? Will he not feel anything? Yes,
Yeah,
no,
he still can feel anything.
yes. But according to them, first body has to react and then emotion has to happen, right? But a person who's lying down, who cannot move, who has spinal cord injury, will they not feel anything? They will, right? So that was the major criticism that they faced. All right. Any confusion till here? Are you able to understand? By the way, please, I am really sorry, but I am not able to see anyone, not able to hear anyone. So I don't know. A couple of people are speaking. Other people are not saying anything. So I don't know whether you're just listening, sleeping, doing your job. So please let me know if you're able to understand, not understand anything. Okay. And then there are, yes, this was the second point, which Smita just mentioned. Also, different emotions can have similar physiological reaction. Your heart starts beating fast even when you're fearful, and even when you are going on a date with your girlfriend for the first time, right? And now body, will the mind be confused कि मुझे डर लग रहा है कि मुझे excitement हो रही है? This is one of the major criticism of this theory. So just to summarize everything, James-Lange theory. What was the name of both of them? जल्दी जल्दी आंसर कर रहा हूँ.
William James
William James
and
and Carl
Carl
Lange.
When was it given?
1980.
1880s.
Oh,
1880s. Okay. So a specific date is not mentioned. I couldn't find it. Right. So it's a process. Maybe they just published the research paper, they wrote a book and something like that. Okay. And what is the major component? What is happening? An event happens. Then what happens?
Physiological reaction
Okay. And then
followed
followed
by
by an emotion.
followed by an emotion. What is the strength? What is a good point that we got to know, that psychologists,
includes
physiologists got to know?
physiological aspect.
Yes, it included physiological aspect, which helped in future research about it. Okay, biofeedback, and those face recognition. Through face, there are some machines which recognizes your stress level and everything. So it happened. But what is the criticism?
if someone is paralyzed, they can still feel emotions like
They can
happiness,
still,
joy.
yes, and they have not
Different
covered these
emotions
aspects.
can have same physiological reactions as well.
Yes, and different situations can have different physiological reactions. Do you think, based on this theory, disabled people should go through bodily senses, and then emotions? As you said, people with spinal cord. This is what they don't explain, right? According to me, if you ask me as a person, okay, their part of thought is right. Okay, that yes, our body is connected. Our body also feels something with our emotions. So maybe they are happening simultaneously, which we will read in different theories, in other theories also. disabled people should go through bodily sense. No, there are no bodily senses. There are no sensations happening if they are paralyzed or the part is not working. There are no senses. So you can take it as a biofeedback there, and there will be no senses at all. But they might be crying in front of you, right? You might see the teary eyes, or they are feeling bad inside, but they are not able to move. They are not able to feel anything in the body. So that also exists. That is the major criticism. Okay, done. Second, let's understand the second theory, which is Cannon-Bard theory. Again, he's not a one guy. They are again two people. Okay, and Cannon-Bard theory was a direct response to James-Lange theory. Okay, because they did not believe it completely, and they had their own viewpoint. They started researching, they started discussing, they made their own research. And but what are the names? Anyone? Cannon is Walter Cannon. Walter, Walter, Walter Cannon. And Bard is Philip Bard. Philip, that bulb, electricity. Philip Bard. So again, the question might come, who was Walter Cannon? So he was an American psychologist. Who was Philip Bard? Neurophysiologist. Okay. Now, what did they say? Interesting. This is somewhat related to what we think. Okay. Now, again, there is an event or a stimulus. Now, what are they saying? That physiological responses. Again, are you able to see my screen?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Okay. Because I can see only 19 people can see me. Physiological responses and emotions. Okay. Now, what they're trying to say, when this event happens, it happens in our brain, a part of the brain that is called thalamus. Thalamus. ठीक है. So thalamus में वो our brain processes the event. The part of the brain which processes the situation is called thalamus, and then at the same time physiological response also happens, and emotions are also generated. We also feel emotions. Are you able to understand that we see a snake? Again, I'm taking an example so that you can relate with the previous one. Simultaneously, both are happening together. Yes. Snake, you see a snake, you start trembling, and you are feeling fearful. So it's not one after the other, it is simultaneously, according to them. So you go on a date with your girlfriend, right? Your brain processes it, and thalamus, you feel excited, and your hands are becoming sweaty, or your heartbeat is increasing. Anyone who wants to take a picture, please take it. Okay. Do you understand the difference between both of them? Can someone tell me the difference between Cannon-Bard and James-Lange?
In James-Lange's theory, it occurs one after the other. And
Hmm.
in this one, it occurs simultaneously.
Yes, it occurs simultaneously. Okay. Now, what is the strength of this? What positives do we get through it? First is that they included the role of brain, first of all. In the first theory, they did not even talk about the structure of the brain and how is biology, of the brain uh, doing certain activities to evoke those emotions, right? So here, what is happening? They introduce the part of the brain that is thalamus, which is responsible to process the situation and get into the emotion and as well as a bodily reaction. Okay. And then they also explained, because that was their criticism, they also explained that a person without any bodily function can also face emotion, because it is happening simultaneously, right? So या तो मतलब अगर ये नहीं भी प्रेजेंट है तो भी ये हो सकता है, तो भी ये फील हो सकता है. So without bodily reactions also people can feel emotions. That was their point. Are you able to connect more with this theory than James-Lange, or James-Lange has more relatability? What do you think? Which one do you think is better?
Cannon-Barth theory.
Cannon-Barth theory. Okay, it is more relatable, but it also has criticism. So as psychologists, we should not find any theory as better, bad, or worse. Or okay, we should get the learning from each theory, and we should make our own understanding and maybe our work on our own theory. Okay. What can be the criticism? The first criticism was that they have majorly focused on or only focused on thalamus, which makes it oversimplification of an explanation of parts of brain. Are there no other parts included in feeling something? What about amygdala, responsible for fear, stress? A lot of other things are involved, right? Hippocampus. Then memories are also there. Because of memories, there are certain, we do not have any event. I'm just sitting. I'm thinking about something and I've started feeling sad. Right? Now my memories are also playing at the back, which they are not explaining. So they have oversimplified the explanation of emotions. By the way, they also could not explain that why physical sensation sometimes can intensify the emotions. Have you seen that laughter therapy? Ha 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 ha
Yes.
ha. They start doing that. They're not happy. They're just doing an exercise. But after some time, they start laughing. And they're all, literally laughing, not doing the exercise, and that has become laughter therapy. So it intensifies it. So one thing, try it out, or maybe you can try it now also. Loosen your shoulders wherever you are sitting. Okay, look down and make sad face. Okay, try it. Okay, whenever you get time, just make a sad face, look down. Posture should be very slouchy. And then after some time, you will start memorizing everything that happened bad to you. And you will start feeling bad. Okay. So your bodily reactions are intensifying the emotions. That is why when we say correct your posture, it is one of the most underrated technique to change your emotional state. Change your posture, sit straight, feel more confident, head high. That is one underrated technique that a lot of people should give to people who are facing intense sadness or depression. or going through that depressive disorder phase, right, is to start correcting their posture. So are you able to understand that it is not taking care of this part? Let me read the messages. I have, this is explained by facial feedback hypothesis. Yes, this can also be done by that. Both are better because sometimes we go through a situation, physiology response, emotions, whereas sometimes physiological responses, emotions together. Correct. So that means you're able to at least say, get the difference between both of them. Any confusion till here? Okay. Jaldi se revision. Name of Cannon Bard.
Walter Cannon and Philip Bard.
Okay, okay. Other people, I hope you are also listening to me. And then which theory was they giving the direct response to?
James-Lange.
James-Lange.
Very nice. What is the main core thing? What happens? Event happens and then there's a stimulus. What happens?
Physiological reaction and emotions simultaneously comes.
Yes. In between, there's something happening.
It processes in the
Brain
thalamus.
processes the event.
In thalamus. Okay.
When
What are
was
the
given?
It was also given in the same time, 1880s. I'll check the exact date and share in the group. Even I don't remember the exact date.
Okay.
Okay, but it was in a direct response to them, so it was on the same timing. I've written it somewhere, I forgot. Okay, tell me now, what was the strength? What is the good point that you got to know?
They included the brain aspect.
Very good. And there was one thing that they said, that emotions can also
A
be
body,
present.
if a
People
bodily
can feel
function.
emotions even after having bodily dysfunction.
Okay, very nice. Okay, so sorry, I gave you one. This was not in 1880s. I'm so sorry. It was given in 1920s, 1920s and early 1930s. Okay, so they kept on working on it and they started giving their own theories. And first Cannon came up with a paper in 1927, and in 1934 again Bard expanded that theory. Okay, so ideally in late 1920s to early 1930s, that was given. Okay. Criticism.
Major focus on thalamus and it has oversimplified.
It is oversimplified. Very nice. Very good. Great. So, okay. Any confusion? Can we move to the next theory? All right. Do you need a break for 5 minutes, or is it
No,
okay?
it's okay.
Okay, great. So let's understand another theory, which is called two-factor theory. Two-factor theory. Again, it is very important for us to understand one thing. Till now, no one has talked about cognition. No one has talked about our thoughts about a certain situation. One second, a couple of people are joining. Let me. Okay, so there's a question. We can evaluate our emotions, but when again come across same emotion, we feel the same way and react in same way. What is the question, Shreya? Yeah, as in I understand this happens, but May I know what you want to know about it?
And like how we can rectify our reaction.
That is a different ball game altogether. Uh, okay, so that comes in counseling. How can we do that? Now, have you? So there is a small REBT concept which is called ABCD model, ABC model, if you see, which is activating event, belief, and consequences. Right. So if you cannot change the event, and if you want to change the consequence, what do you have to work on? Your beliefs, your thoughts. So how do you see that event has to be worked upon? So thought restructuring comes into picture. A lot of other things also are there. Where are these emotions coming from? We need to understand that. What is the situation? How can we change it? Right. So there are a lot of things that we need to talk about in that. Yes, Ranisha, that is Schachter and Singer talked about cognition. That is two-factor theory that we are going to read. Very good. Thank you so much. Yes. Okay, I'm not sure people are leaving and joining at the same time.
It's because sometimes there is a net fluctuation and
Right.
Zoom.
But this how do we change our emotions or our reactions in a particular situation? Maybe we can have a proper conversation or a session on that sometime later, right? Because it's a broad concept that we need to understand properly, because let's understand emotions first and then how do we change it. Okay. Now Schachter, now some people call it Schachter, some people call it Shatter. So pronunciation might change. Schachter and Singer. This theory, again, this is not one person, these are two people. What is the name? Stanley Schachter and Jerome, Jerome, Jerome E. Singer. Jerome E. Singer. So Stanley Schachter, Jerome E. Singer, two people, given in 1962. Now, Stanley Schachter was an American social psychologist. Jerome Singer was American psychologist. Okay. Now, what do they say? It is very interesting. They say they have also agreed somewhere to James-Lange also that first physical arousal happens. Okay. And then we label it. Then cognitive labeling happens. And then emotions come into picture. So making it easy for you, you see something, you see a snake. Okay. You see a snake. And then what happens? You start trembling. Okay. Or the heart rate increases. And then your thought comes into picture. Oh, this is dangerous. And then there is an emotion, fear. So they have included the role of thoughts and cognition here. So how are we labeling or interpreting the situation that's happening? So it is more external. Are you able to understand? समझ आया कुछ?
Can you please repeat?
So the core idea is that they talk about arousal. Now, what is arousal? Arousal is a physiological arousal is again the activation or alertness that happens within our body. So it's a physiological reaction that happens along with cognitive interpretation or labeling. So we label or interpret the situation, and then based on that emotions are generated. कि मैंने सांप को देखा, I saw snake, I started shivering, and then my thought was, oh, it can be dangerous. And then I started feeling fear. Now, everyone, as we said, emotions are subjective experiences. Think about it. There is a dog running towards you. Imagine a dog running towards you. What will you feel? And I want to ask this question to Nikita and Ritima. If you can please answer. A dog is coming towards you, running towards you. How will you, what will you think?
Run.
I I would be very happy and I would just start playing with him.
Very good. Very nice. So do you all see the difference? Both the context, the interpretation of the situation was different. एक को लगा कि oh, this is danger, run. Like me, I also am like that. Or maybe I'll freeze. Oh, no, I might not freeze. I'll start running. The other person is saying, wow, dog is coming towards me. Let's play. And they are feeling happy about it. So in between that, cognitive labeling is happening, which is the interpretation of a situation, which is changing the emotion, or which is generating that emotion. So every person sees a situation in a different way. So they might have the heartbeat racing. Both of them might have the heartbeat racing. One is the happiness wala and one is the fear wala. But cognitive labeling, the interpretation, made them feel something. Abhi, is it better? Am I able to explain it, or do you want any other example?
Yeah, it is better.
Awesome. Very nice. So just drawing it again for you guys so that you don't get lost about it. So this is, I hope again my screen is visible.
Yes.
Stimulus happens. There's a stimulus, not happens, but okay. Now there is an arousal. Arousal, do you understand? Alertness, activation, arousal, which is physiological. Okay. Then there is cognitive labeling, which is the interpretation, जो हम अपने दिमाग में एक स्टोरी बना देते हैं जल्दी से. And then there is an emotion. And this cognitive labeling can be different for different people. Now this is a two-factor theory given by them. Okay. So here comes our thoughts. What we think about a situation. You can take a picture if you want to. Any questions till now? Okay, great. अब इसके strengths क्या हो सकते हैं? What are the
First
strengths?
thing, cognitive को include करा.
Very good. They have included the concept of cognition.
Cognition.
Yes. And what do you think can be the criticism?
कि सिर्फ cognition को include करा. मतलब
नहीं
physiological पे ज्यादा focus नहीं करा है.
नहीं, फिजियोलॉजिकल तो हो ही रहा है ना, सबसे पहले फिजियोलॉजिकल ही हो रहा है वहां पे. अब उसका ओके, सो फर्स्ट स्ट्रेंथ पे आते हैं. सो गुड कॉग्निशन, एंड देन दे आल्सो talked about that every person can feel a different emotion in a different situation, in a same situation. That I think someone mentioned also. Correct? जो अभी हम लोग बात कर रहे थे, एक सिचुएशन में दो लोग डिफरेंटली फील कर रहे हैं. That is what they talk about. But there is a criticism that they cannot explain the reflexive responses. मतलब सडन रिफ्लेक्सेस जो होते हैं हमारे. किसी ने हमें चांटा मारा और हमने पलट के मार दिया. हमें कुछ फील नहीं हुआ, मतलब हमने कुछ थॉट लेबलिंग नहीं करी उस टाइम पे कि ये मेरे लिए डेंजरस है, ये मेरे लिए अच्छा है, मेरे लिए बुरा है. यहां से थप्पड़ पड़ा, वापस से थप्पड़ पड़ा. राइट? और you are driving and suddenly a dog comes or suddenly someone comes. What will you do? You'll apply a brake, right? or you will first think मार दूं कि रुक जाऊं. You will not think like that, right? You will take an action suddenly, flight and fight mode में. At that point of time, those situations do not have our cognitive labeling. वो cognitive labeling का part skip हो जाता है. It directly reaches the action reaction mode, which they do not explain. Okay, and sometimes cognitive labeling might not be conscious. It can also be unconscious. Okay. Any confusion? Are you able to understand, by the way, the criticism that we talked about?
Can you please repeat this one again?
Criticism or पूरा?
पूरा ही brief कर दो sir एक बार please.
अच्छा ठीक है. ओके ठीक है, मैं नहीं करूंगा, कोई और करेगा जिसको समझ में आया. एटलीस्ट ये तो कि किसी को समझ में आया. ठीक है, रिवीजन करते हैं फिर से. ओके, व्हाट इज द नेम ऑफ बोथ?
Stanley Schachter.
Stanley Sasher and Jerome Singer,
Okay, when was it given?
1962.
What is the core concept? एक
First is
इवेंट हुआ,
हाँ,
फिर
Arousal
अराउजल.
and
अराउजल
the
इज द एक्टिवेशन. हमने एक फिजियोलॉजिकल रिस्पॉन्स हुआ जो हम अभी तक
yeah,
पढ़ते आ रहे हैं. ये अराउजल का टर्म है फॉर यू टू पास योर एग्जाम्स और मे बी आंसर इफ समवन आस्क्स यू क्या होता है. सो अराउजल हैपेंस. ओके,
and the cognitive interpretation of the situation
ठीक है
and the emotion.
ठीक है. ओके, so just to repeat, I am taking the same example. Okay, one person said कि if the dog is coming towards them, they will start running. They will think this is dangerous. मुझे भागना चाहिए, and they might start running. Okay, so there is a feeling of fear coming inside them. Then there is one person कि dog आ रहा है, उनका उनका दिल जोर जोर से धड़क रहा है. क्यों? क्योंकि उन्हें लग रहा है वाओ, अब मैं डॉग के साथ खेलूंगी, मुझे बहुत मजा आएगा. Okay, and then they are feeling happy about it. So इसमें टू फैक्टर्स हो रहे हैं. पहले अराउजल हो रहा है, उसके बाद हम एक सिचुएशन को इंटरप्रेट कर रहे हैं कि ये सिचुएशन मेरे लिए क्या है. मेरे लिए फियरफुल है, मेरे को डर लगना चाहिए, मेरे लिए डेंजरस है, या मेरे लिए बहुत अच्छी है, या मुझे मजा आ रहा है. एंड देन वहां से एक इमोशन जनरेट होगा. अभी इज इट ओके? अब उसका एक क्रिटिसिज्म, सबसे बड़ा क्रिटिसिज्म यही है कि दे डोंट टॉक अबाउट द सडन रिस्पॉन्सेज दैट हैपन टू अस. ओके, विच आर लाइक ब्रेक मारना. सडनली हम लोग ब्रेक मारते हैं, हम नहीं समझते क्या कर रहे हैं. कोई एक ऐसा रिएक्शन, किसी ने ऐसे किया और हमने ऐसे रिएक्ट किया, हमने नहीं सोचा ये क्या है, ये हाई फाई तो नहीं दे रहा है वो, या फिर वो थप्पड़ मार रहा है. हमारा रिएक्शन तो सीधा ऐसे. सो ये सडन रिएक्शंस को नहीं की बात नहीं करते. सो दे डोंट टॉक अबाउट दैट. These are some of the criticisms that they have followed. Is it okay now? या ये भी नहीं, अभी नहीं समझ में?
Yes sir, आ गया अभी समझ. Thank you.
No problem. Okay, हो गया. अब now we will talk about the last theory for today. This is very interesting. Okay, any guesses? किसी ने ये पढ़ी हो शायद? नहीं. हाँ, exactly. We don't feel emotions during, that is what they don't talk about. We don't feel emotions during reflexive actions. No, we feel them afterwards. But according to them, we have a thought in every situation. So that is why this theory was criticized. कि हम पहले हर चीज को इंटरप्रेट करेंगे, फिर फील करेंगे, फिर रिस्पॉन्स देंगे. और ऐसा नहीं होता ना, वो सब स्किप हो जाता है. वी डोंट फील एनीथिंग, वी जस्ट रिस्पॉन्ड. उसके बाद वी स्टार्ट फीलिंग, ओ ये क्या कर दिया. So that was which they could not explain. So every theory has a good point, every theory has a criticism. There is one theory, not very famous, but it is very important. It is called opponent process theory. Has anyone heard it? Opponent process theory. Okay. This was given by Richard Solomon. Great. Ranisha has heard it. Richard Solomon in 1980. You know what they say? Emotions work in pairs. Okay. काउंटर बैलेंस करने के लिए, स्टेट ऑफ इक्विलिब्रियम में आने के लिए, उसका हम जो इमोशन फील करते हैं थोड़ी देर बाद उसका ऑपोजिट फील करते हैं या उसका एक ओपोनेंट फील करते हैं ताकि हम बैलेंस सिचुएशन में आ सकें. एग्जाम्पल, आई गॉट एंग्री ऑन माई मदर टुडे. वी हैड अ बिग फाइट. फिर जब मैं ऊपर आया तो मुझे गिल्टी फील हो रहा था कि मैंने ऐसा क्यों कर दिया. ओके, सो मैंने गुस्सा किया, वॉज द फर्स्ट इमोशन. आई वॉज एंग्री, आई वॉज फीलिंग वेरी एंग्री. एंड देन लेटर आफ्टर द सिचुएशन हैपेंड, आई स्टार्टेड फीलिंग गिल्टी कि मैंने ऐसा क्यों किया. मैं बिना उसके भी तो कर सकता था, मैं आराम से भी तो बात कर सकता था. राइट? आर यू एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट्स हैपनिंग? ओके, गिव मी सम अदर पेयर्स दैट यू माइट रिलेट टू. कुछ और पेयर्स. सोचो सोचो. बहुत टाइम है.
We can have like we could just passing marks. Okay. But when you see other people's like who just got failed in the grades and you were like, it's okay, I'm good, I did good, and then you feel happy or at least satisfied. So both the emotions that was sad and then neutral or happy balanced out.
Very good, very nice. हाँ, this is also one of them. You start feeling happy and then you start feeling sad also about something. कि यार मुझे बहुत खुशी है, मैं पास हो गया, पर मुझे दुख भी हो रहा है, मेरा फ्रेंड फेल हो गया. I got a job in London, but I have to leave India. Excitement and sadness. Are you able to understand what's happening? So according to them, emotions work in pair. That was the first core point. Okay.
So
And
does they have to be bipolar, like just opposite emotions, or it can be anything to just balance out?
to just balance it. ऐसा नहीं बोला कि it has to be the counter वो, but why? But something has to balance and come back to the equilibrium. It is that they are talking about. Okay. Now they talk mostly about when we repeatedly do this. Okay. And it has a great study in addiction. So pehle, what happened? People start taking drugs because they enjoy it. Okay. They're enjoying it. And then what happens? They're becoming guilty also about it. But after some time, what is happening? अब रोज कर रहे हैं, रोज गिल्टी भी फील कर रहे हैं, गिल्ट बढ़ रहा है, मजा कम हो रहा है. Right? And then they try to stop it, they start leaving it. अब क्या हो रहा है? अब they are more focused, बहुत resilient feel कर रहे हैं, नहीं पी रहे हैं, नहीं कर रहे हैं वो सारी चीजें. But after some time, what is happening? Withdrawal symptoms are happening and they are getting the urge of having it. So now they are having it not because उनको मजा आ रहा है, because they have to control their urge. Are you able to understand how this loop is getting created? So this theory, opponent process theory, beautifully explains and has a practical application in and future studies in this what we just spoke about, addiction. ठीक है? Are you able to understand this concept or not? Please tell me. But he mostly talks about repeated exposure. So repeated exposure जब होता है, so first emotion का strength decreases, opponent का it increases. So जितनी बार मैं मम्मी पे चिल्ला रहा हूँ, मुझे गुस्सा कम आ रहा है, but मैं फिर भी चिल्ला रहा हूँ. But अब मुझे गिल्ट मेरा बढ़ता जा रहा है कि यार मैं हमेशा वही कर रहा हूँ, मैं हमेशा वही कर रहा हूँ, मैं हमेशा वही कर रहा हूँ. So when you repeatedly do something which you don't want to do, the other emotion starts increasing, and because why did you do this? That emotion starts decreasing. Is it clear? Okay. So maintaining the equilibrium is a very important point in them. Addiction may, loss may, what happens? When you go through a breakup, you feel extremely bad, extremely sad. But so counterbalance करने के लिए, with time you start doing something, you start taking therapy, you start becoming better. When you go through a loss, when someone dies, right? It's a very unfortunate thing that a person can face. पहले बहुत दुख होता है, बिल्कुल मन नहीं करता बात करने का, पूरी आप ग्रीफ के स्टेजेस के थ्रू जाते हो. बट उसको काउंटर बैलेंस करने के लिए देयर इज अ टाइम व्हेन यू स्टार्ट वर्किंग ऑन इट, ऑन योरसेल्फ, व्हेन यू स्टार्ट टेकिंग दोज एक्शंस. आप वापस ऑफिस जाना स्टार्ट करते हो, कॉलेज जाना स्टार्ट करते हो. सो यू स्टार्ट फीलिंग, यू नो, working on yourself. So it's the counterbalancing that's happening. Okay, not happening at the same time, after some time. Now tell me, what is the criticism? Criticism is oversimplification. बहुत आराम से समझा दिया उन्होंने, कुछ भी बात नहीं करी, ना कॉग्निटिव लेबलिंग की बात करी, ना फिजियोलॉजी की बात करी, ना ही कुछ इंटरप्रिटेशन थॉट्स की बात करी. ही ओवरली सिंप्लीफाइड दैट ये होता है, उसको काउंटर बैलेंस करने के लिए ये होता है. And you know, you might have heard this, every action has a equal and opposite reaction. So it is very much related to that theory. And he could not explain properly, or there is a limited explanation of a new stimuli. He is talking more about repeated exposure. या बार बार जब करते हो, he is talking very less about new stimuli कि अच्छा मैंने आज ऐसा किया first time. Okay. So these are 4 theories. Again, something, let's revise this. When was this theory given?
1980.
1980.
Who gave it?
Richard
Richard
Solomon.
Solomon.
What are the key features?
Emotions work in pairs.
Example? Anger followed by guilt.
Yeah, guilt. Yeah.
Yes. So initially stronger the first emotion, and then the stronger the opposite reaction, stronger the opposite emotion also. I felt extremely guilty. ठीक है. But then पहले वाला down होता जाता है, दूसरा वाला up होता जाता है. And what is the criticism?
Oversimplification.
Oversimplification.
No
And
cognitive
doesn't address
thinking.
the cognitive labeling, thoughts, physiology, anything. Okay. And what is this, which research or which future implication it helped in? Addiction.
Addiction. Yeah.
Yes. So these are the 4 major theories of emotions that we understood today. Any questions? Were you all able to understand? Sorry.
I'm Priya. मेरा क्वेश्चन ये था कि if we face an emotion और बहुत टाइम बाद physiological response आता है, तो वैसी कोई theory नहीं है?
What time बाद आता है? Example?
जैसे if you are sad now but you cry days later or hours later, so that physiological response of crying came afterwards the emotion, or you are
Okay.
happy and yes, later
Yeah, I
on you
understood your question.
yes, okay.
Okay, great. अच्छा क्वेश्चन है by the way, but think about ये जैसे अभी physiological reaction, अगर आप अगर if you look at a holistic picture of physiological reaction, okay, it could be anything. It's not necessary कि you cry right now. It could be like feeling like crying. मतलब यहाँ पे कुछ हो रहा है. There's something you're feeling here. Okay, you start feeling heavy here. या फिर आपका पोस्चर चेंज होने लग रहा है, वो भी तो फिजियोलॉजिकली है ना। आपकी बॉडी में सर्टेन चेंजेस आप नोटिस करने लगोगे। आपकी हो सकता है स्माइली फेस ऐसा हो जाए, कुछ एक्सप्रेशंस चेंज हो जाएं। दीज आर आल्सो फिजियोलॉजिकल रिएक्शंस। ओके, सो सर्टेन फिजियोलॉजिकल रिएक्शन कैन हैपन लेटर, जैसे क्राइंग हम कंट्रोल कर लेते हैं, बट आपका चेहरा, आपकी बॉडी, आपका your you start getting goosebumps. So these are certain things that we do not notice, but those are happening within you. Okay.
Isn't it suppression like something happened, a stimulate occurred, and due to some reasons we couldn't express and our emotions get suppressed and later on triggered by something similar and it releases.
So you're suppressing that emotion for that time, but I think that was not the question. Yes, suppression is conscious, correct. You are suppressing it. अभी मैं सबके सामने नहीं रोऊंगी, बट आप रूम में जाके रोने लगते हो। Okay, that is suppression, but because of suppression later unconsciously also you can start crying. Like आपने कोई मूवी देखी और आपके आंसू टपकने लग गए, मतलब the act of suppression is conscious, but the result could be unconsciously coming out also. Are you able to understand the difference?
Yes, thank you so much.
No problem, thank you. एंड वो थ्योरी वाला समझ में आया। आई एम नॉट श्योर इफ समवन हैज गिवन दिस थ्योरी की बहुत बाद में अगर ऐसा कुछ होता है, बट सम सॉर्ट ऑफ फिजियोलॉजिकल रिस्पॉन्स यू विल स्टार्ट नोटिसिंग इन यू। आपका फेशियल एक्सप्रेशन चेंज होना, आपका पोस्चर चेंज होना, गूज बम्स आना, हार्ट रेट कम हो जाना, बीपी कम हो, यू नो दैट बीपी goes down if you're very stressed, sometimes feeling very sad, and you're feeling very excited, the heart rate and bp increases. Okay, those are physiological changes, not necessary कि हमेशा आपको रोना आएगा या हमेशा आप कांपने लग जाओगे. There can be very minute changes in your physiology also. Okay, that is why biofeedback is a very good tool that you can use when you start working in a clinical setting. In fact, counselors can also use it. It's a normal app these days. Any other question? Some messages are also there. Or maybe the comprehension or cognitive labeling is happening after some delay. Could that also explain this? Obviously, yes. So it's a process. Cognitive labeling can keep on changing also. मतलब I labeled this as कि वो मुझसे बहुत जलती है इसलिए ऐसा किया. You see Big Boss, you will understand this. Anyone who sees Big Boss recently, किसी ने Big Boss देखा है? ओके, नहीं देखा, कोई बात नहीं, अपने घर में देख लेना, आसपास स्टार्ट सीइंग योर फ्रेंड्स एंड फैमिली, स्टार्ट सीइंग योर फ्रेंड्स एंड फैमिली, राइट. वन टाइम यू आर द हीरो कि यार शुभम बहुत अच्छा है, उसने ना ऐसा किया, और उसी टाइम पे उसी सिचुएशन में किसी ने बोला अच्छा शुभम क्या अच्छा है, उसने ना अपने मतलब के लिए ऐसा किया है, इस वजह से किया उसने, मुझे पता है. एंड आपका थॉट चेंज हो जाएगा, हाँ हो सकता है शुभम इस वजह से कर रहा हूँ, एंड आई स्टार्ट बिकमिंग विलन इन योर लाइफ. Okay, so that labeling keeps on changing, by the way. I'm just talking about we just spoke about the theories right now for your maybe exam purpose and knowledge purpose, but there are various things happening apart from these theories also. Can you explain sadness, cry increase day by day and then change sudden happen like sadness again, happy or working? Parampreet, can you say it if you don't mind? I couldn't completely understand this. Narrative define. Yes, Shreya, that's yes. You define the story. Keep changing it.
It was like you sad and then you cry and then the crying increased day by day and then suddenly a change happened like the sadness come up again and you become happy or you become productive and try to overcome from that crying phase. That is my question. Is it happen like as we studied opponent process theory, so according to that?
It's a part of that, yes. Opponent process theory explains that. But there's much more happening. So that is why they criticize, because it is overly simplified. कि हाँ ऐसा हुआ है तो ऐसा भी होगा. But what is happening behind that? Suddenly it's not happening. As in, I am crying and I start getting up and started gym. Right? There will be something that will happen in between. कुछ मेरे दिमाग में थॉट आएगा कि अब बस, अब मुझे और नहीं रोना है, अब मुझे अपने ऊपर काम करना है. I have to start working on it, and I start making my to-do list or something, and then I start working out. ये हो सकता है, right? But ऐसे नहीं कि मैं रो रहा हूँ और मैंने जिम करना स्टार्ट किया. So there will be some bridge which maybe we are not identifying. Those bridge are the thoughts and beliefs that we have. So something will come to me as कि रोको, अभी रोना हो गया है. Okay, now it's time to start working on myself. I will keep crying. I'll give some time to my crying for this every day, but there will be some time which I will give to myself, my emotions, my mental health, etc. And then I start working. So that change can happen.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem.
Hey Shubham, I also have one question.
Yes, Dhruv.
My name is Dhrujan, and I have a question. Like as you said, there is a suppression of emotions, and there is one more thing that is sorry,
Repression.
repressing your emotion, repression of your emotions. So, like, what's the difference between these
Repression
two?
and suppression, the biggest difference is repression is unconscious. You do not do it consciously. Example is a young girl got molested, okay, by her own uncle when she was 5 years old. And later, she does not even remember this incident happening. It was so, harsh or difficult that the mind chose to delete that information, delete or maybe hide that information somewhere in their mind, कि हमें consciously याद ही नहीं है वो. So I am not doing anything about that memory. It is happening automatically कि मुझे वो चीजें याद ही नहीं आ रही हैं जो मेरे साथ हुई हैं. And that happens a lot with these traumatic events. As this is repression. Suppression, on the other hand, is consciously stopping yourself from expressing something. Like, for example, party में husband मजाक उड़ा रहा है wife की सबके सामने, and the wife is controlling herself to not say anything right now. I'll talk to him later. So I'm suppressing my emotion and talking about it later. So repression is unconsciously happening. Suppression is consciously suppressing and stopping your thoughts. Is it clear?
Okay, thank you.
I have a question. Can repression occur later on? Like if something similar trigger that person, can that memory of 5-year-old girl can be back? Like something happened like that, and she remember everything.
It can happen. It can happen. There's a possibility. But one catch also, Dhruv, for your thing, the uh, after repression, by the way, okay, she might still face a problem in getting into an intimate relationship. Whenever she's coming close to her partner or any other person, right, she's feeling very uncomfortable and she's stopping that, but she does not remember aisa ho kyun raha hai. And like Payal mentioned, okay, this can also happen through therapy, or maybe even in hypnotherapy, this can happen, that she might remember some of the things. Not pura, because she was maybe 4 years, 5 years, she might not, but she might remember that something happened to me, which I can remember, but not vivid. But that happens very rare, as in it does not happen always. But, okay. I like how you, is it okay, Payal? Now, did I answer your question?
Oh yeah.
If there's any other question, please ask.
No, I'm still analyzing. So if something arises, I'll tell you.
Sure. I like how you pointed out that we don't really see the physiological reaction example in stress, sometimes experience of acidity. Oh, yes, absolutely. Thank you so much. And all these theories oversimplify the emotion as emotions are more complex in nature. Absolutely, Vaidi. They are very much complex. That is why I keep reading these theories. But do observe everything around you, make it very practical. I always say that psychology starts with self and people around you. So see how they are processing emotions, how you are processing emotions, what kind of thoughts are coming, what kind of reactions are you giving after the thoughts. Okay. And then there's a biological functioning that happens behind, which you can even read, which you won't be able to see it. So yes, you can read about that. So if you're still here, thank you so much for watching the entire session. I know it's a very long video. However, it covers four major theories of emotions, and I also hope that you might have liked it and you would have got some knowledge from it. So we'll be coming up with such sessions and recordings even more, and even some short videos. So stay tuned and you can subscribe us for more such content.